love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me.
All right, welcome to the Fantasy Six Pack 2022 Fantasy Football Team Previews. In this episode, we're going to be covering the Carolina Panthers, and let's just jump right into things. With our quarterbacks, as always, starting out here, Sam Darnold, overall 325, quarterback 33. Matt Corral, 370, 37. Still got PJ Walker hanging around. I mean, look, nobody wants these guys for fantasy, obviously. ADPs aren't even that good either. So your your two QB leagues, even your super flex leagues, they're kind of just like your third quarterback. Either, if you want one, and you obviously need one in a lot of those leagues. But I guess the only question here will be, like, who is actually the starter at the end of the year? Like, do you think Darnold can continue? He had a little success at the beginning of the season last year. Do you think he can kind of build off of that this year? He got hurt. That kind of stopped his momentum. Or do you think they switch over to the rookie?
My heart wants to be Sam Darnold because I feel like yes, the injury, that was his first fair chance at actually being in a decent offense, decent weapons, not stuck behind Adam Gase. But Matt Rule is on the hot seat, man.
Yeah, he's not a great coach either, apparently.
And I'm surprised I didn't jump on a quarterback sooner with all the mocks, Kenny Pickett going to Carolina. So it would not shock me if I see Matt Corral being the starter at the end of this year.
I also wonder, there's obviously, although I don't know if Cleveland's eager to trade Baker right now, but, as we've already recorded the Cleveland episode, but in that one, we meant, it was all the talk about, is Watson going to be the guy there, and are you going to take the risk? And, that was before more lawsuits are being filed against him. So now it's just like, who knows what's going to happen? So I don't know if Baker's going to get traded there, but I feel like somebody's getting traded there, whether or not it's like Jimmy Garoppolo or Baker or something, right? And if that happens, I mean, look, I don't know if Garoppolo's like a huge upgrade, but I feel like it's an upgrade. Like if you're trading for a Garoppolo, you're probably starting him. And I don't really know if the offense really improves under either of those guys, honestly. Like they're just meh quarterbacks, to be honest. But
I think it improves a little bit. I mean, Let's look at Jimmy G. That's best case scenario, I think about it. I don't know if Baker's getting traded right now, just like you said.
Yeah.
Now coming into fruition. So Jimmy G's probably best case scenario, and I think it's a little bit of an upgrade over Sam Darnold or Matt Corral. I mean, Jimmy G supported Deebo Samuel last year. He's given Ayuk some flashes every now and again, and it was a run-heavy offense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's shown to have good instincts, and he's smart with dissecting a defense sometimes, but then he's very inconsistent and he can just run that stupid ball. But the team would be the best fit for Jimmy, in my opinion.
He's a game manager. I hate using that term, but I mean, he is legit a game manager. He's just, you put him in a safe scenario with good weapons around him and he can do it. And look,
good defense too.
Everybody knows Carolina has some good weapons, and we'll start here with the running backs. It's Christian McCaffrey leading the way. Still overall number 2, running back 2 off the board here.
Finally knocked off that pedestal.
Yeah, but, I mean, I'm actually shocked after 2 years of basically lost seasons, man, that he's still RB2. But we'll get into that. But Deonta Foreman moves in. Chubba Hubbard's still there, and Spencer Brown's at the bottom of the depth chart there. But Christian McCaffrey, I mean, look, what is your – if you had to give an over-under on games played, what would you put it for McCaffrey, and do you think he hits it?
I hope Carolina's smart this year. And I want to say 12 plus. I'd take 12 plus games at Christian McCaffrey because even last year, dude played 7 games and averaged 18.2 points.
It was amazing.
It was stupid. He's just a fantasy goldmine when he's on the field. That's his problem. Is he got to be on the field? And I'd like to think Carolina will be smart. I mean, they were finally smart, and they did some contract negotiations to tweak his contract in the benefit of the Panthers for their budget. Now let's be smart and I know it. Fantasy players hate to say this, but he's got to have a little bit of a reduced workload. It's if you want that availability from him.
Yeah, I tend to agree. They've got to figure out how to get somebody else involved. And look, Deonta Foreman isn't anything super special, but I mean, we've seen flashes of him, being a good player. He's obviously had a lot of injury history himself, but I think he can be a guy who they should be able to, split a little extra time with. Chubba Hubbard was okay last year, so I mean, I think they can utilize him as well.
Year.
I think McCaffrey, as you said, he is still super good. It's just
he's almost radioactive. Like, you want him, but at the same time, you don't want him because of that volatility.
Yeah, I totally feel you there. It is hard to trust him.
It's hard to say no to him.
I forget which other show I said this on, but it's almost like, we were talking about the Viking show, like with Dalvin Cook, right? And then you got Derrick Henry sitting there at like 4. Obviously you got JT at 1, which I guess I'd be happy with, but I still it's hard to repeat as number 1. You got Eckler up top, right? Who's got injury histories. It's almost like I don't want a top 5 or 6 pick. Like, I just don't. I'd rather
And if you do, it's like 5 and 6. Like, give me the end of it. I'll just take the scraps so I don't have to make the decision. Just keep it left over.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it is tough, man. It's tough to figure out who you want in that scenario. Look, I get it. McCaffrey was super good last year, but he is hard to trust. I mean, he just seemingly can't stay on the field right now, and that's a problem.
It's like I know I can't really attest to this, Joe. Maybe you can look into the future and attest to this, but he's like a teenager getting into high school. You just can't trust the damn person.
I'm a few years away from high school with my kids, thankfully. I'm not ready for that yet. But yeah, I mean, look, half PPR points, man, like 23, 22, 5 and 12, 21, 21, and then he got hurt with 3. So
yeah.
The dude is an RB1, locked in RB1 almost every week, when he plays, man. And he can give you a full game somehow.
Like, even in 2020 when he lost his, it was 14 games, dude still averaged 30 points a game in
amazing.
PPR. Now, half PPR, he had
27, 22, and 32. Yeah, it's just insane. Insane.
Stupid.
The guy's ridiculous. I get the reasons for taking him at 2, but, man, you are taking a massive risk at that point.
And that's the biggest thing in the first round. You want to mitigate risk.
Yeah. So let's move over here to the receivers, and we got DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall, Rashard Higgins. DJ Moore has been what we call quarterback proof, but he gets tons of targets. He gets lots of yards still, but I mean, what's the ceiling for him? He almost feels Keenan Allen-esque at this point. Like, he's safe, but do you want that? I don't know.
He's almost like a discount Keenan Allen. I wouldn't even say he's Keenan Allen because Keenan Allen's not a good offense. Like, this, as of right now, is not a good offense. And in my opinion, what really gives a player his ceiling is his ability to score. How many touchdowns can this guy get in a year? And DJ Moore's ceiling is capped at 4, it seems like.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen's at least getting 6.
That's true. That's true. I mean, look, you love the volume. I mean,
so
again,
the
the touchdown
there all day. So,
but again, their rankings are pretty close, which is why I said that too.
Yep.
I know their rankings they're going around the same time in the drafts. Keenan Allen's going around 10. DJ Moore's going 18. So I mean, yeah, it is a bit of a discount, but they feel like the same type-ish
They do.
player where it's like it's all volume driven, get catches, get me yards, and when you get me a touchdown, thank you. But other than that, like he's gonna be hard to break the 20-point barrier.
And that's what I love about this game. Fantasy football all in general. Like we always talk about it with the running quarterbacks, how different it is when you look at how like a person like Lamar Jackson compared to Tom Brady gets their points throughout the game, and they end up about the same.
Yeah.
DJ Moore and Keenan Allen are. If you looked at just the fantasy box score, you'd be like, God dang, they're almost identical. But DJ Moore is the guy who can break a long play for a touchdown. It's just he never does.
Right.
It's so weird because Keenan Allen's your possession dude, and he's not going to break a long touchdown ever. He's not going to. I mean, how often have you seen Keenan Allen get a 60-yarder?
Yeah, that's very true.
DJ Moore can break a 60-yarder. I feel like if he's hitting stride, that's his problem. Is so far has been the quarterback. So maybe he gets his ceiling heightened if he gets a quarterback like Jimmy G to just manage the game.
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah, I will say this: the receiving long per season between DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, I'm looking at it right now, is heavily in DJ Moore's favor every single season. So Keenan Allen's career long, by the way, is 54. DJ Moore's shortest career long, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like his longest for a season was 52. He's been well above that every other season. So yeah, totally true, man.
It's so weird.
He just needs a quarterback who can get him the damn ball, man. So
it's so true.
It's unfortunate.
It's a beautiful game.
And he's 25. Keenan Allen is 30. So that should play a little something into things too. But is there any of these other receivers? I mean, Robbie Anderson, who by the way is no longer with Robbie with a Y. I found that out yesterday.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they still have Y on here. Change that.
Interesting.
A couple of seasons ago he had a pretty nice season. Can he do you see any sort of bounce back ability from him this year?
Realistically,
I personally don't.
No.
Yeah, I personally don't.
It was if like I said, if Jimmy G's is the bright star in this twilight in this offense, I think, because like I said, he gave Ayuk some weeks. Even when Debo was in, he got some weeks, and I think that could be Robbie Anderson's fate if you get somebody like Jimmy G. But again, that's all if you can get Jimmy G there.
Absolutely. All right, finish off here with the tight ends, and probably really nothing to say here. I mean, Tommy Tremble. I mean, we like him at all, or we just close it out.
I mean, he's even a bench play for a 16-team dynasty league.
Yeah, I think we can pass on this discussion. Ian Thomas was a nice thought a couple of years ago. Everybody kind of liked him, but he is no longer the guy. So
everyone likes to make tight ends out more than they.
Everybody wants to find that sleeper. But all right, well that's it for the Carolina Panthers team preview. I want to thank you for tuning in here. Hit that like button, hit those subscribe buttons, leave those comments. We appreciate it, and make sure you check out the rest of our team previews here. See ya.